Welcome back to Luxury Land. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world right now, but do you know who the richest person in history was? There are billionaires and even trillionaires that existed as far back as 1,000 years ago. By using the opinions of experts, we can make a list of the richest people in history in the world, including people who were born centuries ago. But before we get into that, please gently caress that subscribe button and lightly click on that bell notification. It'll help us get to 50 subscribers and allow us to continue to inspire you by providing the luxury content you deserve. Number 10, William the Conqueror, $230 billion. William the Conqueror was born in 1028 and became the first Norman king of England. William earned his fortune pillaging basically everyone in normal conqueror style. He famously conquered England in 1066 in a battle that cost 100,000 lives, 10 points taken for mass violence. He did, however, ban slavery, so 10 points re-awarded. But he also made everyone speak Franglish because he wasn't fluent in English, and that's pretty narcissistic. Most notably, William had 500 castles built across England and Wales, and so became one of the largest landowners in England of all time. He ate well and had the nicest drip, so nice that after his death, he was stripped naked for his clothes and jewels. Yikes. Number 9, Osman Ali Khan, $236 billion. This very rich figure made it on the cover of Time magazine in 1937 as the world's richest person. Didn't know that magazine was that old, did you? Osman Ali Khan was the last ruler of Hyderabad in India. The ruler had the JAKOB diamond in his possession as a paperweight because it was only the 5th biggest diamond in the world. If it was the 4th biggest, maybe it would have gotten some respect. He also owned a large collection of jewels passed down from ruler to ruler. It consisted of 173 jewels, 2,000 carats worth of emeralds, pearl necklaces, and more, totaling in $2 billion worth of goodies altogether. Osman Ali Khan donated his wealth to educational and religious institutions throughout his life as well. He also knitted his own socks, so that's cool. Number 8, Nikolai Romanov, $300 billion. Nikolai Romanov was the last Tsar of Russia, and he sucked, universally. In a hypothetical weird situation where journalists of the time could vote on their best rulers in the world, he would unanimously get the least most valuable ruler award. He was still richer than most though, and he still enjoyed the money. The last Tsar had an annual salary of 200,000 rubles along with 20,000 in spending money, but he often spent over 150,000 rubles. Basically, his spending money was 40 times the salary of an average worker. Nikolai laid the blueprint for Putin. The Russian ruler spent 20,000 on custom-made uniforms for himself, and his wife spent money on jewelry. He had the most expensive coronation in Russia's history with a choir of 1,200 people and 24 tons of silver and gold tableware. He kept 55 people in his kitchen and enjoyed a 4-course breakfast, 5-course lunch, and 4-course dinner. There was so much food that the leftovers were served as delicacies at restaurants. Number 7, Andrew Carnegie, $309 billion. Andrew Carnegie started as a telegraph messenger, but he did so well that it led him to become the superintendent of the Western Division of Pennsylvania Railroad. During this time, Carnegie invested money into the railroad industry because his superiors educated him on the science of investing. He did this right at the boom of the industry. After this, Andrew went on to start ironworks companies and launch Carnegie Steel Company, later selling it to JP Morgan for a cool $13 billion. When it was all said and done, Andrew Carnegie gave $4.8 billion to charity. By the end of his life, he gave most of his money away and left some to his family, servant, housekeeper, and butler. Andrew Carnegie believed that if a rich man died with his riches, then he was a failure. Number 6, Jakob Fugger, $400 billion. I will not make a joke about his last name, but Jakob Fugger's parents earned their fortune trading textiles with Italy. Later in life, Jacob started mining operations for various metals. Wisely, he started investing and spreading his money through many industries. Jacob even funded the construction of many of the Vatican's buildings, including the Sistine Chapel. JAKOB had a 4 stories tall home with waterfalls and fireplaces in every room. He even funded the first low-income housing property in the world. The residents to this day only have to pay 88 cents a year to live there. Number 5. John D. Rockefeller, 400 billion. This mogul founded the Standard Oil Company in 1870 and at one point controlled 90% of oil in the US. Rockefeller's fortune was so big, it was 2% of the national economy at one point as well. Among his possessions was a 40-room home with views of New York City. It took 6 years to build on a 3,510-acre estate, which had farms, gardens, bowling halls, pools, and more. He also donated 10% of his income yearly to charity. Number 4. AKBAR the First, 500 billion or more. AKBAR the First was a direct descendant of Genghis Khan. In his time, he tripled the territory of the Mongol Empire, stretching it from India into Afghanistan. Though powerful, he was known for his religious tolerance. He was a practicing Muslim, but united the Hindus and Muslims of his empire. The ruler's fortune was so massive that he controlled 25% of the world's GDP for years. Number 3. Augustus Caesar, 4.3 trillion. Augustus Caesar is the only confirmed trillionaire ever, owning a fifth of the Roman Empire. Most of his fortune came from inheritance. The ruler gained 75% of Julius Caesar's wealth. In addition, wealthy families also left part of their estate to the emperor for political safety. In Augustus Caesar's time of rule, he doubled the size of the Roman Empire, founded police and fire services, and introduced roads. Not only did he revolutionize the Roman Empire, but his rule ushered in 200 years of peace, so I would say he earned his $1 trillion worth. Number 2. Choiseul of Song, trillions. Choiseul of Song ruled during a very lucrative era of China. Rice became the staple of the economy during this time, making them a world superpower. Not only this, but gunpowder, printing, and magnetic compasses were developed during this time. China also created the world's first navy to defend its trade routes and was the first to form and increase taxes on its citizens. The Chinese ruler controlled 30% of the global GDP during his reign, which made his wealth literally immeasurable, but experts agree that it would be in the trillions of dollars. Number 1. Mansa Musa, unfathomable wealth. Mansa Musa was the ruler of the Mali Empire in Africa in the 1300s. He was known for riding on zebras and carrying thousands of pounds of gold. During this time, Europe was suffering from the Black Death, but Mansa Musa's empire was thriving as the world's largest producers of gold and salt. These were the most important commodities of the time. Mansa Musa conquered 24 cities within his first few years of his empire. He became Muslim and traveled 4,000 miles to Mecca. He brought with him 10,000 soldiers, slaves, and heralds. They all wore Persian silk and carried gold staffs. Additionally, all the horses and camels carried 100 pounds of gold. Weird flex, but okay. Everywhere they went, he gave gold as gifts in cities. This caused inflation so bad that it would take the economies 12 years to recover. Once going back to his empire, Mansa Musa funded a mosque to be built every Friday and built many palaces and universities. Soon after his death, the Mali Empire fell and was picked apart by colonizers. These were the richest people in history. Please leave a like and click the video screen to watch something just like it. Thanks for visiting.